Namaste everyone, this is Aga again. Welcome to my channel, Tree of Life Spiritual Coaching. Today, maybe you're surprised by the background. I'm recording from a laundry laundry place. I'm doing laundry, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to talk about karma and laundering your past. I very rarely use public laundry, but I'm staying temporarily for another month at a friend's place, and he doesn't have a laundromat. And I was also thinking lately about talking about karma, and I thought, what a great place to record. So I hope you won't be disturbed by TVs and people talking and radio. But what a great symbolism, right? And why did I want to talk about karma? If you're my listener, you know that I am a coach, a therapist. I work with clients on a daily basis, people who have been dealing with lots of difficulties in their lives, all kinds. And I also have been on my own spiritual path for a good 7 years now. And lots of things happened during that time, many thousands of hours I have meditated, and I've had lots of different experiences as well. And, reading about or talking about concept of karma, really want to cover that topic in my channel as well, because I talk to a lot of spiritual people who believe in karma, and sometimes there are heated discussions on the internet about, let's say, suicide, and if what's the karmic payback for that. And I have to say, I haven't read many spiritual books. I just put in a lot of hours of meditation. I also have done some shamanic journeys with Peruvian shamans, and I've done some journeys in United States. And these, thousands of hours of meditation, working with clients who are very depressed, sometimes very broken. And also remembering myself, how I used to be, how I felt very helpless, how I was completely lifeless and thought about suicide all the time, and was able to transform this energy. I just wanted to make sure that this concept is understood a little bit better. And again, this is my personal opinion, or experience rather, because I like to talk about things that I have learned or experienced within myself. And I understand that these religions, they've been around for thousands of years, and maybe some of these concepts have been circulating in human consciousness for a long time, but I want to say that spirituality evolves, and things that were valid thousands of years ago are not necessarily valid anymore. The universe is changing all the time, and we observe it. We're discovering new planets, new galaxies, trillions of them. So I think that the way we view the world is very different than what was written in the scriptures thousands of years ago. So in Hinduism and Buddhism, the concept of karma is very, very strong, and there will be consequences for our actions. And a lot of my clients, they seem to be coming from that place of having tremendous guilt, that they have done something and they cannot somehow cut or disassociate themselves from what happened and try to live in the present more, but they have a lot of self-judgment, and some of it can actually be adapted from our environment, our homes, our society. And I think a lot of it is also unfortunately resulting as of being brought in certain religions, Christianity or Hinduism or Buddhism, and that concept of not being good enough, being a follower of a God, not really understanding that God is a frequency within you, and all you have to do is tune in. It's not at all an entity or some other being that is outside of you. And what happens is, through thousands of years of human history, these archetypes that are circulating in collective, subconscious and conscious, they're shaping the map of how human mind is thinking, how we are viewing ourselves. And unfortunately, most of the time, people give themselves very little credit. They don't at all appreciate who they are or the change they want to make. They constantly are critiquing themselves, and think that they're not worthy, they don't deserve positive change. And this idealized version of God that religion gives us is something that we will never achieve, be able to live. And I'm very, very much against this concept, I have to say, because we're all very unique and we're very equal aspects of everything that is alive. And so there is no reason to compare ourselves to any entity, any God, any guru. It's not going to serve you at all. So why am I talking about all of this? And the title is, Laundering the Karma. Because I deal with people who are also suicidal, or people who lost their loved ones to suicide, or the ones who try to commit suicide. And that question comes up a lot, and they ask me, what is my view on it? And I talked about it already in the video, but I just want to say that even people who do commit suicide, they're not going to experience the consequences of their choice, in a sense that they're going to be degraded to a much lower level because they didn't appreciate the gift of being human. I disagree with that. My inner experience of tuning in, meditating, doing other spiritual practices, doing some channeling for people, also for people who family member did commit a suicide, brought me very different information. The information I got was that we're here to gather information. The soul is this gigantic entity that's way, way bigger than our physical body and what we understand in our physical mind. So when soul wants to have experience, it can divide itself to maybe millions of different living beings, trees, animals, human beings, and so on. And what we're doing is collecting information and experiences, and it all goes to the giant hard drive, and that is our soul. So the soul needs to experience everything, and there's no reason to judge the experience or to say that this choice was very degrading for the human being, and now the soul needs to reincarnate in a much lower level, let's just say. I disagree with that. I can say from the information that I've been getting through meditation and stillness that every decision is valid and every decision is respected, and the mechanism of the universe is such, whatever you put out you get back. So if you're vibrating certain intentions, certain thoughts, you're going to get that kind of experience of reality. It's a valid experience just like any other. So the mechanism works both ways. We can feed ourselves more positive thoughts and receive the outcome in the way we see the world, in more positive ways. Or we can allow ourselves to identify with each thought, and let's not forget we have thousands of thoughts every single day, 6,000 or 7,000. How can you even imagine that all these thoughts are really yours? I don't identify with my thoughts. The way I see thoughts, it's like collective consciousness. It's like this atmosphere. and 7 billion people on the planet are having this experience, living in three-dimensional world, and calling it their reality. And that's absolutely okay, but what if there is another way of experiencing the world and understanding perhaps, or just allowing the idea that maybe the thoughts are just like atmosphere, and there are different options like bubbles. Every thought is a bubble. Every possibility already exists, like a frozen frame or like a bubble. And by working with our own frequencies and favoring certain thoughts that are better for us without invalidating the others that are not that favorable, choosing what we want to follow as far as billions of possibilities, we can tune in to realities that already exist within this multiverse. So in this sense, we can create our own reality without invalidating what we don't prefer. And that's how I really view the largeness, the vastness of possibilities, free will, and what does it mean to create your own reality. I personally came to a conclusion after meditating for, 10,000 hours. I can't tell. I don't know how many sessions I've done with clients and patients. But my conclusion is that there is absolutely no reason to destroy ourselves by looking back and creating that space of victimization or a space of helplessness. Unfortunately, the change doesn't happen unless you decide to take responsibility of your thoughts, because thoughts and intentions are feeding that mechanism that I was telling about earlier. What you put out, you get back. So what you vibe out, what you enhance, that's what's going to ricochet back to you. Again, these choices already exist. It's just we decide to go this way or that way. So we're going to have different experience based on how we're shifting to these realities 1,000 times per second. That's why we can't measure it or see it with our three-dimensional eyes, because we're shifting so fast. But that's how you can think of your thoughts, your intentions. When you see beautiful hope, or you see beautiful butterfly, think of your thoughts like that. What if your thought was a beautiful hope traveling over the canyon? You can look at that instead of looking at maybe another possibility of the hawk being killed by another predator. Our imagination is really the tool to use in this process of shifting. The more you just allow yourself to go into the right side of your brain and use this beautiful tool you have to imagine, to visualize, to take this a little bit further and create a feeling like this is true for you, the more it will become true. A lot of people don't know, but feeling and intention or thought equals manifestation, equals reality. Without a feeling, if we don't match the feeling with the intention, we will not be able to manifest the reality. A lot of people who are religious, they keep praying, they keep using mantras, but deep down, they don't really feel that they're worthy of what they're asking for. These prayers, these mantras will not work for them. There is a formula that you need to use if you would like to experience a shift, a change in your life. And if you have a hard time believing in what you're saying, perhaps it's good to start with examining your belief system and going deeply investigating what is the belief system that you are holding on to, because it's very likely that you're not the best friend to yourself. You had been judged or mistreated, and some aspects of you were suppressed in your childhood or during some traumatic situations in your life. And these aspects are hidden, they're in subconscious, and they are actually the one who are creating your reality more than you yourself. So for those of you who are really having a hard time believing in themselves, letting go of the self-judgment, letting go of the idea of karma, I find it so destructive. I can't even tell you, the thoughts are really the the nail to the grave of like human suffering. I really would like to share with you a personal story, how I really came to this place where I'm at now. I went through years of depression. I don't know how many. I would say maybe 15 altogether. I was raised in a family that did not respect me, and I was a little different child. I was experiencing these ultra-sensory moments and seeing beings, holy beings, living in my own multidimensional world. And as a result of not being supported and being crushed, I have suppressed a lot of the parts of me that were holy, that were beautiful. And I remember maybe 10 years ago, I used to go to places like public places or clubs. I was very depressed, and I would not dance, but I would sit and observe the crowd dancing. And sometimes people would come to me, ask me. I was very weak inside. I didn't have energy to interact with anyone, but I did feel better when I saw people having fun and doing something. It's almost like I was experiencing life through them, because I had no life force to make an effort. And I remember that this boy came to me, this young man, and we started talking. He invited me to his VIP section, and we then were supposed to go to another event, but they changed their mind. They dropped me off at my place, and it was maybe about 2 a.m. and I felt so crushed, so depressed, so weak. I couldn't even go up the stairs to my apartment. I was sitting underneath the stairs and didn't have any energy to walk or floor to drag myself into my bed. I called one of my friends at the time, and I asked him to come and spend some time with me, because I was feeling so low, so weak, so dark, very dark. And he said no, that he cannot come. And we just talked for, I don't know, maybe 15-20 minutes over the phone, and I spent more time sitting underneath the stairs. And finally I gathered some strength to walk up the stairs and go into my room. And I think some part of me at that moment made a decision inside of me that if I come out of this alive, if I somehow come out of my situation stronger, that I will be the person who will help, who will always be there for someone in a situation I was in before. So that exactly happened. I made it to bed. I started eventually feeling better, and I reached certain level of just comfort, I guess. I wasn't really healed or anything. Healing for me happened years later. Maybe 4 years later. But I was able to enjoy life a little bit more again, maybe a year or so after that time. Why am I sharing this very deeply personal story with you? And talking about karma and laundering and all of that. I could have stayed in that very dark place and continue thinking about suicide or continue just experiencing life in such negative way. But we all have this amazing life force inside us, that life that will always exist, no matter in which form, even if we deny ourselves right to live. And somehow this option was stronger in me than the option to give in. And I started meditating 3-4 years after, quit drinking alcohol. I did some shamanic journeys, and I was able to heal completely all my fears, especially related to my childhood. So these techniques, these therapies, they work. And if you are in the place where I was at, I just would really want to send a message to you that there is definitely a way to shift, and it might be hard work, and you need to be dedicated to change, and really know that as much as you support the darkness, you need to put as much energy in supporting the light within you, because where the mind goes, energy flows. But I didn't have any help along the way, and it took me 2 years of meditating 2-3 hours a day, and like I said, I've done other work with shamans to help myself. And I don't think you need to go through such intense, long process. I didn't really have any help. I was just meditating, reading, searching. But I would say reach out to someone in your city, or at least watch lots of videos, follow instructions, and really know that the God particle, that love that creates, and we co-create with that, is there to support you every step of the way. And there are people like me or other people who went through this already, and they came out to the other side. They transcended their pain, and they're able to be an example. I am really enjoying where I am right now. My life has completely transformed. I helped transform my life, and I'm very happy for all the experiences I've had. The darkest, when I had no idea how to express myself differently than what I thought was me, and I identified with it. So all possibilities exist, right? And there's no such a thing like karma that you have to pay off. Of course, there is a law of the universe that says what you put out, you give back. What you put out, you get back. But also, if you start living in a present and stop dwelling on a past and stop being anxious about the future, you can actually zero out all of these energetic connections. Maybe not right away, but very, very quickly they will not become a factor, very, very strong factor in your life, because you won't concentrate on them anymore. And having this concept of endless possibilities, like bubbles, and you're just shifting through based on the thoughts that you're choosing to support, that should help you understand that you're creating the continuum, that there is no continuum, really. With our thoughts, we kind of create the thread and we create the pattern. So perhaps that's a good illustration on how we can reshape the pattern that we're creating. I'm going to be in California for the next 10 days, and if you would like to reach out to me, have an energy session or past life regression session, I will be in LA until the 28th. Actually 27th, because on the 28th I'm already going to San Francisco. And then I'm going to spend a few days in San Francisco and then coming back to Chicago for another 2-3 weeks. So feel free to reach out if you need to talk to someone, if you need that person that would listen to you, give you good information, good tools. And also, I'm excited to say that at the end of November, I'm gonna go travel to Asia for a few months. So I'll be posting a lot of videos from crazy places around the world. I'm very excited for that. Very excited to see, culture in India first, and maybe attend a meditation retreat. Although for me, nature is the best teacher, and I feel best if I can just learn, sit in stillness in nature. So I look forward to your comments, to your experiences, opinions about karma and personal evolution. Thank you so much for tuning in. Keep glowing, keep growing. I love you all dearly, and see you in the next episode of True of Life Spiritual Coaching. Our laundry is over today. Namaste.